Now we will be discussing about shareholders and their role in sustainability. Here we are going to discuss where shareholders do have any role or can they exert any control in saying that the corporate is maintaining the sustainable business practices, or they are oriented towards following the triple bottom line, where they are addressing the economic issues, where they are addressing the social issues, and also where they are addressing the environmental issues. So there have been a lot of discussions regarding this, like how the shareholders can get directly involved in the business processes. So through their decisions of investing in organizations which are following these sustainable business practices, and how it can ensure like that the organization is doing it. So in the last decade, there has been a lot of effort in designing share indexes that rate corporations according to their performance towards the broader goal of sustainability. Here we find one of the prominent one is the Dow Jones Sustainability Group Index, and it has become the leading index in this regard. The Dow Jones Sustainability Group Index was developed in the early 1990 onwards. The movement started, and it was launched in 1999, and actually comprises of many European companies, and it focuses on mainly three things. Because it consists of many European companies, this is taken to be the best in class approach. The companies who have accepted the criteria in the index chosen along the following criteria, that is environmental or ecological sustainability, the economic sustainability, and the social sustainability. In the environmental or ecological sustainability, it is looking into the things like environmental reporting, whether it is being done properly by the organization, eco design is being done properly by the organization, whether there is a proper environment management system in place, and whether there are executive commitment to environmental issues. When talking of economic sustainability, it focuses on the quality of the quality and knowledge of the management, the strategic planning, supply chain management, and corporate governance mechanisms of the organization. When speaking of social sustainability, it speaks of employment policies, management development, stakeholder dialogue, affirmative actions and human rights policies, and anti-corruption policies. The data is based on questionnaires, and the survey is being done on nearly about 318 companies out of 10 economic sectors in 24 countries. So we can understand it's a huge data, quite an effort taken to arrive at these criteria. And based on these surveys, based on questionnaires, the reports have been, it has been documented, and then corporate policies and reports, and finally public information as far as available was taken as a part of the data, and then finally this compilation was done. According to the proponents, by focusing on sustainability, the index focuses on those companies which are future directed and have innovative management. Then this index has attracted significant interest from the investment community. So, however, there have been some criticism regarding this index. Now, we will try to see the criticisms of the index. The biggest criticism is that the index depends on data which the company itself has provided. Although the data is analyzed by the Swiss consultancy firm and it is verified by an independent auditor, the assessment is inside out provision of data. It coincides with the criticism of the questionable criteria used by the index. Some critics have asked how it is possible that corporations with massive ethical credibility problems like Nike are included in the index. Similarly, the entry of maybe a cigarette manufacturer was greeted with considerable controversy. The index does not exclude, however, on the basis of industry. Despite the obvious problem of the tobacco industry as well as armaments, alcohol, energy and others, it argues that industry leaders should be identified and rewarded in order to stimulate progress towards sustainability. So, this has raised the eyebrows of many critics who are telling when the industry itself is grey in area, so how it can be included in the criteria when you are measuring something, an index for sustainability. It focuses mainly, the third criticism is that it focuses on the management processes that are done to see that the sustainability is attained, and rather than on the actual sustainability of the company or its products. So, evidence of policies and management tools features more prominently than emission data or resource consumption figures. Again, the audit firm argues that the index does not identify sustainable companies, but those making progress towards addressing them. Overall, the Dow Jones Sustainability Group Index has to be regarded as an important step in linking investors' interest in financial performance with the broader goal of sustainability. However, the development is still very recent and the concerted effort towards progress is yet to be arrived in future. So, it may be required, like the to help the firm move towards these practices. Maybe it's time to rethink over the whole model of corporate ownership, and let us see what are the different models of corporate ownership present. The Mondragon Cooperative, it is a Spanish cooperative which has been founded in way back in 1956 by 5 engineers and a Catholic priest, after being built up for over 15 years prior to that date. Today, the cooperative consists of 150 smaller cooperatives and employing around 60,000 people. It includes large companies such as supermarket chain and Spain's largest manufacturer of refrigerators, as well as smaller companies in the electronic sector and a translation service with just 8 employees. Each company has its own general assembly meetings where all the workers have the same voice and decide on the corporate policies. It's very important that all the workers have the same voice and decide on the corporate policies. On the top of that, each company has a vote in the General Assembly of the Mondragon Cooperative as a whole. The cooperative is about twice as profitable as the average company in Spain and has the highest worker productivity in Spain. Up to 70% of the profit flows back to the owner member workers, 20% is reinvested, and 10% goes to the local community projects. How the cooperative has contributed to the sustainability is through its effect of looking into economic sustainability, social sustainability, and environmental sustainability. We will discuss this in details now. First is the government ownership. It is mainly present in many parts of the world. Family ownership, where family which may have long term goals, but it may not treat the stakeholders in a much better way, as any better than MNCs. The option, the new ways of looking into this ownership, sustainable corporate ownership, the way that we are going to discuss over here more is that of cooperative ownership. So, can we move forward from corporates to being cooperatives? So, what are cooperatives? These are hybrid businesses which are not owned by the managers or investors, but these are owned and democratically controlled by workers or the customers. These cooperatives are not set up to make profit, but to meet the needs of its members. The Spanish Mondragon Cooperative has made a striking contribution to profitability and both sustainability. How this is possible, if we try to see the details of it, we find that it has contributed to economic solidarity by economic sustainability by following the principle of solidarity, where there is a mutual bond between the different subsystems of the different parts, and that they mutually support each other in the years of maybe economic downturn in one industry. This has led to the long-term growth and survival of the cooperative as a whole. Furthermore, the workers will always have a long-term interest in the survival of the corporation, or we want to tell it as a cooperative, as they are owning it. Whenever we are talking of social sustainability, it gives a tremendous job security as an embeddedness in the local community and active support for social projects, such as it gets involved in education, it gets involved in the housing projects and drug prevention, makes the Mondragon an active supporter of socially stable and supportive environment. With the workplace democracy as the guiding principle, the individual worker has a relatively high protection of all those rights that are the basic human rights and rights of the workers in the workplace. Environmental sustainability. Although we do not have many supportive literature about this, but however, it is clear with the local ownership of the corporation, the group of people who are directly involved in this are people who will get affected if the air is polluted or water or soil gets polluted, and they are belong to the constituency to decide about these issues. This at least ensures the attention to environmentally friendly working conditions and production processes. However, this also may face certain issues due to globalizations, and as we see with the globalization, maybe with different cultural values coming in and deterritorialization of things happening, the initial principle of solidarity may get affected, and it may so happen that this now gets compared to international standards, and however, the insiders expect more market orientations, but there is a great optimism that based on its values that this organization has, from the like owners being the workers themselves, or the workers are the owners. It is going to be a good example, leading example in future also. What we come to understand from this discussion, that shareholders do have a very prominent role in maintaining ethics in the business. They have a comparatively more influence as compared to other stakeholders, and they have certain rights and corresponding responsibilities also towards the organization. And because they have some rights, the rights they can exert through the process of corporate governance, to see like the processes of the organizations are done in a proper way, in an ethical way. They can exercise their rights also in the context of globalization, and they can expand their horizon of investing in different types of companies across the borders, and they can exercise their rights also to see like the organization is following sustainable business practices. To exercise these rights, however, the firm also has to acknowledge that it has the accountability to the shareholder, not only for the financial performance, but also it is accountable to the shareholder for performance in all the areas of its business, with respect to maybe the society, that economic not only the economic perspective, but also the social perspective and also the environmental perspective, because the money of the shareholders are getting invested in the business and how it is doing the business. So if the shareholders are getting moved by the not the narrow concept of seeking only profitability for their own self interest, but also they are moved to invest in an organization for broader social interest also, they can do this by the process of either ethical investment, or they can make the organization work in an ethical way through the process of shareholder activism, and in that way they have immense power to control the functioning of the organization. The shareholder needs to realize this power and use this, and also the corporate has to understand like it is answerable to the shareholders for its overall performance. The DJSI index that about sustainability helps in understanding the responsibilities that the organization has and how this DJSI GSI index, how it can be linked with the share like index, so that how it's a link between how this social performance, how the environmental performance, how the economic performance of the organization, what it is doing, can be linked with the share index. And if this is done, then it gives a tool to the investors to decide on, to choose organizations that they will be investing for, and maybe to deselect organizations that they are not going to invest for. And so ethical investment becomes an important tool in the hands of the shareholders for maintaining sustainability in the organization. We will take up ethical investment more in the next module of the discussion, where we are going to discuss about the financial management, it's an overview, and the ethical perspective of it. Thank you.